Okay, so we have some pretty major updates. Life has been lifing.
Soon as we start getting a little bit of feeling like things are getting better, bad
Yeah.
news.
I feel like I kind of want to spread my wings. Hi, I'm Hannah Williams,
And I'm James Daniels, and
and
you're
you're
listening
listening
to
to
the
the
Two
Two
Cents
Cents Podcast
Podcast
by
by Salary
Salary
Transparent
Transparent
Street.
Street. So last week, I know we promised you some interviews, and we have got those scheduled, and we're so excited about them. But we did have a minor hiccup with our first episode. We've kind of been going like nonstop since September doing this season.
Yeah, we only missed 1 week, and that was because we were deathly sick.
And I'm glad that I'm not glad about this, but I did hear a lot of other people that were sick as well. So I feel validated that it wasn't just our weak
Yeah. Oh, no, it
immune
definitely wasn't
systems.
just us.
Yeah, there's something going around.
And yeah, we got a bunch of updates that we want to tell you guys about, but first, a word from our sponsor. The new year is off to a strong start in New York, with new laws now in effect that put money back into the pockets of New Yorkers.
Did you know that New York is now the first state in the nation to offer paid prenatal leave? Yes, effective January 1st of this year, workers can take an additional 20 hours of paid leave for any pregnancy-related medical appointments, helping ensure that no pregnant person in New York will be forced to choose between a paycheck and a checkup.
They're also the first state in the nation to eliminate co-pays on insulin for New Yorkers, saving the average eligible recipient up to $1,200 per year.
But what about pay? Well, they've got that covered too. Minimum wage will increase again next year. It's currently at $16.50 in New York City, Long Island, and Westchester, and $15.50 in the rest of the state. And then it'll be indexed to inflation each year following.
This is an amazing reform. Every New Yorker deserves a living wage and an affordable cost of living.
Visit dol.ny.gov to learn more.
And thanks to the New York State Department of Labor for partnering with us this week on the pod.
Yeah, so cool. Thanks so much. Okay, so we have some pretty major updates. Life has been lifing.
Yeah, definitely. It seems as though soon as we start, getting a little bit of feeling like things are getting better, bad
Yeah.
news.
It's just there's something in the air. I don't know what's happening. This year has just been difficult. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this can relate. As you know, we did an episode about our home buying journey, and turns out our home remodeling journey has been almost as chaotic.
Yeah, I'd say we had a few hiccups. As you guys can tell by now, we've had a bunch of hiccups when it comes to a bunch of stuff in our life right now. And the house is one of those things where you gotta kind of like a little setback.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, we bought our house for $605,000 in what was that, 2021?
21, I believe so.
September or October of 2021. So we got a really solid low interest rate. Our interest rate was what, like 3%?
Yeah, like 3.5.
Yeah, and we used the VA home loan. So we actually only put down $20,000 in order to buy the house. So, if you hear 605 and that's sticker shock, trust us, we know. And that's actually, it'll blow your mind. That is probably one of the cheapest houses you can buy in this area.
Yeah, definitely at this moment as well. I mean, like we just had a house right down the street sell from us.
Yeah.
And that was more than 605 for the condition of that house.
And it's the worst condition.
Yeah, that house is pretty old, kind of, I think it was built around the same time
Smaller,
as
too.
ours. Yeah, and it pretty much just needs a whole lot of updating. I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna tear the whole house down and rebuild, which
Yeah.
that's what everybody's kind of doing, but we can't afford to do that.
Right, apparently we can't because we kind of have to tiptoe around this because I learned the hard way. I made a video about what happened, and a lot of commenters were telling me that talking about this actually put our insurance at risk, and we could have been dropped from our insurance. So trust me, like every bone in my body wants to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
You know us, but we have to protect our personal interests here, and we can't get too deep into what happened. But we had planned to remodel our house. We were trying to do our renovation within a $300,000 budget, but we just recently got a really bad call from our contractors who told us that there's something wrong with our house that basically means we can't remodel it as it is. And so we have a few options ahead of us. We're going to speak to get some other opinions, but right now the house is kind of on hold.
We had a conversation afterwards, and we kind of just figured with the current political landscape, and with a few plans that we actually have coming up
which
now.
we will talk
Yeah, we will
about.
talk about. But with that, it's just probably not the smartest thing right now for us to put all of our eggs into one basket per se. And by that I mean put all of this money into the house right away.
Yeah.
But like she said, we're gonna get a few more opinions, have some experts come out and take a look and see how we can remedy the situation.
Yeah.
Which kind of just means that we'll just have a small setback, maybe an extra 50,000 on top of what we thought we would be originally spending. But at the end of the day, it's our house, so we kind of have to deal with what we have at hand.
Yeah, definitely the costs, the hidden costs of home ownership. What is it? What do they call it? Being cash poor, but having a house, like,
Yeah,
that's kind of how it feels right now. So we are kind of setting that to the side. The beauty is that we own the home. We have a really low interest rate.
yeah,
We pay about, what is it, $3,500 a month?
about
About
33.
34 actually.
Yeah, and that's with us putting a little bit extra on.
Right, and that's, like, with our property taxes and everything,
Yeah,
so we feel like we're in a really good place. We have boosted up our savings recently as well, so our plan actually is to run away from everything,
yeah,
run away from our problems. We are gonna move to Philly,
yeah. Philly.
part-time.
Um, I wouldn't say part time. I'd say temporarily.
Correct. We're moving there all the time,
Yeah, all
but we won't be there forever.
all the time. We're moving it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're waking up there, we're going to sleep there, but we will only be there for a couple months to start. And that's good because we've always wanted to move and explore new areas. And I think that this way we can do it without the commitment of buying a house or, signing a
Doing a long-term rental
right.
agreement or something.
And
Yeah.
then we end up hating it. This way we
Yeah.
can kind of explore, get a feel for things, and be like, this is where we want to be. Because also part of that is I feel like I kind of want to spread my wings. I know we've built a really strong community in the DMV, and it pains me to leave that because this is our home and we always loved that we were from this place versus like a big hub like New York City,
Yeah.
and it just felt like we had a more intimate connection with our community as a result. But I have never left this area since high school. Like when I moved to this area in high school, everyone I went to school with was trying to leave because
Yeah.
they had grown up in the area. And so I had just come and I was like, I'm going to stay here forever. I've been here. We've both been here. Actually, we moved to this
Yeah. 11
area.
years.
If you didn't know, this is a tangent, but it's one of those weird ways that the universe works. We both moved to this area the same month of the same year,
Yeah.
and we would not meet each other for
Another 4
4
years.
years, 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
but I just think that's so cool. So we've both been in this area same time. We're not originally from here, but it feels like we've been here a long time now,
Oh, it's been a good chunk of my life now. I
a
mean,
decade.
I'm 32, so it's been a third of my life now.
Yeah, same. So it's like we are not thinking about moving forever. Like our home is here. We'll come back. We will be back in May actually because we have some events coming
Yeah,
up
we have
here.
some
We'll talk
season
about
tickets
that.
too.
And that's the thing. We also have the season tickets for the Mystics, so we're gonna have to come back for those. If we sell our tickets because we can't make it, we'll definitely put that out for our community. But I think it's time for us to explore new territory.
Yeah, plus Philly is a great location for us to do so with its, relative location to New York as well as to DC, and the cost of living is a little bit more affordable.
Mhm.
Um, the vibe in Philly itself is just like a homey vibe, and they just won a Super Bowl. So
Yes, and turn down the White House.
and turned down the White House. So
That's where we're
Philly's
trying to
kind of
go.
like we're like, all right, this is a place where we might want to spend some time.
And running on that note of, the White House and such, this area just is hurting. There's a lot of people that have lost their jobs recently. I'm also less not excited, but like nervous to go interview because I know that we're probably going to get, negative responses, rightfully so, from people who are scared of their jobs, and the security of them right now, like in the government, in nonprofit, in DEI work. That's a lot of the people that work around here. So I just think now's just not the time or
Yeah,
place,
we don't want to stir the pot by any means.
and where our work isn't welcome by the administration. So I think it's time for us to test new waters. And a funny little story, but we have tattoos. Like if you watch this, we have tattoos. One of the first place we went to, aside from Washington, D.C., when we started Salary Transparent Street, was Philly. We drove to Philly and we started this tradition of getting tattoos in the places we went. What did you get, James?
I got love because Philly's the city of brotherly love.
And I got, if you're watching this, I got the Philly Liberty Bell, the cracked bell, right next to an old tattoo I have of an airplane.
Everybody thinks that she's from Philly because of that tattoo.
People ask me all the time if I'm from Philly, and I'm like, I chose the worst placement for this. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a sign.
Yeah, it's definitely a
Maybe
sign.
not, but I'd take it as a sign.
Yeah, I mean, life is what you make it. So
So yeah, so we'll be moving to Philly. We're looking to move pretty soon, within probably the
2 weeks
month
or
of
so.
March. Yeah. So we'll keep you posted. But if you are in the Philly area, we will be hosting a workshop in Philly. So make sure you're following Salary Transparent Street, subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss the link when it comes out to register. We'll also be hosting workshops and live podcast recordings. We'll do another workshop in Boston and Seaport. The other workshop will be in Philly. And then we're going to be doing live recordings of this podcast. I'm so excited about that in New York City and DC and Georgetown. So stay tuned for the links to drop soon over the next few weeks so you can register and save your spot.
And as always, make sure that you guys like and subscribe and give us your 2 cents.
We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.